Hey, what is up guys? Dreadful here, and in today's video, we are going to take a look at Ardor Blossom Faust and AEDD Gregenheim and see what their overall kits are going to be. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Up first is we have Ardor Blossom Faust. So usually how we work things is that we take a look at their passives and their battle passives as well, and then we go over to their skills. So here we go. So we have unsnuffed embers. I almost said unsniffled, but it's unsnuffed. So obviously activate it after using the E.G.O skill. Every bird that's on Faust, it'll increase bird potency inflicted on enemies with this unit's base attack skills effect and coins effect. Okay. When this unit uses this one, so this is specifically for the regular Ardor, the E.G.O gear Ardor Blossom Faust. It will not kill itself, and instead heal HP and also gain blood damage and wrath damage up. So it's pretty much similar to Tears of the Tarnished Blood with Hoglu, if you have Lord Hoglu, and you fulfill that conditions. Tears of the Tarnished Blood isn't going to kill Hoglu, it's going to instead give him HP. And so it's basically the same mechanic here. Just the only main difference really is just the fact that it's blood and wrath damage up, which is pretty much tied with the Ardor Blossom Faust anyways. And then we have Embers. If the unit has burn, lose Embers count when hit by a skill that inflicts burn potency, count, or unique burn. Okay. If she does not have burn, resets Embers count and when hit by a skill that inflicts. Okay. At a certain amount of Ember count, it'll activate burn on itself and lose burn count and loses the Embers potency. And with how much Embers potency she has, she'll reset it. Okay. So let's go to the Awakening skill now, and can I just take a moment to say that the artwork here for the E.G.O is very nice. Anyways, the Awakening skill, so obviously it's dependent on the burn that's going to be on targets and self. So, and then obviously it'll give burn count, and then wrath damage up depending on how much burn the enemies have, or this could be even herself as well. And then, as usual, inflict burn, and then inflict burn equal to whatever wrath resonance divided by X. And it's the same thing with the second coin. However, just the after ones, it'll inflict embers on all targets, depending on how much burn they have. Overall, not really looking too promising, but then again, I think the main mechanic of this is to make sure that Faust can actually at least survive. So it's gonna make so if you have the E.G.O gear Faust with Ardor Blossom, of course, it's gonna make owning this E.G.O a lot better for her. But anyways, let's go to her corrosion. Targets randomly. Final power for every. So yeah, it's the same as this one here. Gain burn and burn count, and so basically the same. Uh, if she's missing HP, she'll heal some SP. Okay. Burn count equal to resonance, burn count, and then another one. So yeah, it's pretty much not really much different. Just it's really pretty much depend on the first two. The first two coins are basically almost the same. Just first coin here doesn't really give burn count, but actually wait, no. This one is much more bird positive than compared to the first coin here. And then the second one is pretty much the same, yeah. And then the third one will inflict embers between targets, so This one's a random one, while the main one is on all targets. Alright, so I'm really interested to see how it's going to work. I suspect it's going to be with how it's basically being hinted towards that. It's mostly just more for Faust's healing capabilities with her ego gear, but we'll see. It is an ego after all, so I'm not really expecting much. But yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the Gregenheim, which I think it's best to start off with this first, then the passives. So photoelectricity, when the unit is hit, of course, attacker gains charge count equal to ooh. So they gain charge. So the enemy gains charge. Okay, with photoelectricity. Okay. High voltage exoskeleton. I pretty much glanced over this, and essentially, it gives him shield. And how much of high voltage exoskeleton he has, he'll gain some charge count as well. And shield gain from its effects expire. Okay. And the charge to sting, which which gives, yeah, it makes him take damage that from skills that gain or consume charge count. For envy skills, strengthen this effect by another percentage for every stack, and then he'll lose the stack on the turn end or slash attack end that fulfill the effect triggering conditions above, excluding so. Self charge, which gives him final power, charge count, and then when he loses it, it'll be from a turn end, attack end, and then attack end of skills that hit this unit. However, this does give him an immortality thing, so I assume that how this is going to work out is somewhat similar to Priest Gregor. And then we go over to his passives, and then every time this unit gets charge, it'll consume 10 cumulative charge count in this encounter. And then any charge bearer that he has, it'll be converted into high voltage exoskeleton. And then at certain charge, minimum and maximum speed increases. And then when this unit takes damage, that brings its HP down to 0, which, remember, because of self-charge, he does get a conditional immortality. He'll gain some self-charge equal to whatever charge he has, essentially. And then over here, it's the same as Lamp Gregor, where any allies that have the E.G.O gear, including him, gain offense level up. When Gregor uses this, however, compared to Lamp, if he has less charge count when consuming charge count due to the E.G.O passive, instead of consuming 2 charge count, it'll consume the shield or HP to activate the E.G.O passive effect. And it only triggers at a certain percentage of HP. And then take the lead, I'll provide you support. Gains charge count. And depending on the charge count, it'll consume that excess charge and then apply half of charge count on an ally. So he gives his charge count to an ally. This effect prioritizes the lowest charge count among allies. If there are no allies with earlier deployment orders other than this unit, it'll just deactivate itself. At a certain gloom or envy resonance, it'll apply some charge count next turn on allies with earlier deployment order than this unit. Applies on these allies between gloom and envy. In deployment order, at X charge, apply charge count on allies instead. If there are no allies, okay, so it's then he'll gain the charge count. Okay, yeah. And then defib, I'm just going to call it that. Any ally that has the earliest deployment order will heal HP equal to the amount of charge count and unique charge consumed by their own attack skills this turn, respectively. So, pretty much, it's going to become G-Corp Gregor's time is going to be dethroned, and this will be useful for any charge identities. Moving on, though, we have his skills! Let's start off with the defense. Defensive capabilities uniquely superior. That's actually quite a bit of a long defense name, but it allows him to get the exoskeleton and then coin power equal to charge on self, and then gain charge count, and then aggro to the skill slot. Skill 1. Deal more damage for every charge on self. Then, obviously, coin power, clash power, we know all the details. And at a certain less charge count, he'll gain some charge count. He's also charge and rupture, so I think that's our first. I think that is our first charge and rupture for this season, if I'm not mistaken. I'll leave a little editing thing down here, just to be sure, but yeah. Skill 2, DC inversion, which obviously more damage depending on how much charge. Coin power, of course. And then it'll change this third coin here to an unbreakable coin, depending on how much charge he has. And then gives this skill some base power. Okay. Charge count, rupture count. Then another charge depending on how much of this is there. And then rupture. And then it inflicts photoelectricity. And then it'll increase depending on how much charge he has. Okay. And then skill 3. It'll go ahead and gain whatever exoskeleton he has equal to charge. And then at a certain charge count, it'll convert it to this to the enhanced skill 3. Coin power, and then same thing as the skill 2. It converts the final coin to an unbreakable. Consume, so, and that gains some coin power. Okay. Charge count. Rupture and rupture count. Photoelectricity, and then more of that, and then charge sting equal to charge on self. And then, depending on how much charge he has, it'll also do it this turn and next turn instead. And then his other enhanced skill 3, which seems to be a AoE skill, because excess has attack weight beyond the number of targets. It'll deal more damage. So I assume that this enhanced skill 3 is going to be like at least 2 or 3 on the attack weight. Coin power, of course, depending on how much charge he has and the charge count. It'll consume some of it to gain base power and coin power. Any remaining ones, it'll consume to deal more damage. And then these are all unbreakable coins, so we don't have to worry. Rupture count, rupture, photoelectricity, charge to sting, and then same as the normal skill 3, it inflicts charge sting, depending on how much charge he has. Okay. I think overall, with Gregor, I will say first thing, when I saw, like, the trailer, I genuinely thought he was going to be blunt, but, considering that all of these skills are slash, it's likely he's going to be, either... So that only pretty much leaves 2 options. Well, there is a third option, which can be slash fatal, but I don't think they're going to make him slash fatal. I think he's probably going to be blunt fatal, if I had to guess. So far, I think Gregor right now definitely has the... I feel like this kit is a lot more unique compared to his lamp kit, but we will see. Overall, I'm pretty excited to test him out, and then obviously do a intervallo rerun hard mode solo, hopefully with him. So yeah, all in all, I think Gregor is going to be certainly more fun because obviously it's our first charge ID in a good bit. But yeah, all in all, I'm excited to see how he's going to play out, of course. And until then, that's going to do it for today's video. As you already know the drill, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. So you.